narcissist still wants control even after you set boundaries. The narcissist only waits for a matter of time before they try something slick. They try something different that can go clean over your head. And by them doing this, it kind of distracts the rules that you already put in place that upholds the boundaries. So now you may take into consideration looking at things in a different way in order to accommodate their desires. And by accepting it, this is how they take control again. I've went through this so many times in the workplace with narcissists who have a hard time being under the control of someone instead of being in control of someone. One of the many ways that they move the goalposts is, say for example, they have their certain things to do and you have your certain things to do. So both of y'all have a job to do that doesn't have anything to do with the other. But they're always watching you because they can't handle the fact that you're doing something without their assistance or approval. So what they'll do is pretend like they're offering you a little advice on how you can do something to make your job easy. And if you accept this advice, you're also giving them control again. Because the narcissist's main goal is to have control. They don't care about boundaries. They don't care about following rules. They're always trying to do someone else's job instead of focusing on their own. Don't be fooled or sucked into a narcissistic distraction because they do this on purpose to make you forget about your new direction. They're trying to reel you back into them. They might bring up casual conversation even though the boundaries include no contact. Now, when you're dealing with the narc in the workplace, you have to communicate with them. So the narcissists feel that, oh, now you can't, abide by those little rules you made. You have to talk to me. And yeah, we can talk, but it has to be about work. So keep your foot on their neck and don't give in to these little fake casual conversations, because that's just another tricky way of them gaining control again. Hoovering comes in many different forms, and it happens when you least expect it. When narcissists feel comfortable enough to approach you with casual conversation, fake conversation, bringing up things from the past, bringing up things that you two did together, good memories, to say. And even if a person feel, well, I've moved on, I'm, smart enough to know how to deal with this now, so it's not going to hurt to talk about things we did in the past, do a little reminiscing. Be careful with that, because any attention you give the narcissist is supply, good or bad. So be very careful with that, because you can easily be sucked back in through Hoover. The closer you let them get to you, the more chances you're taking. I hear a lot of people mention, why didn't the narcissist Hoover me? Well, one, if you're moving on past that, that's the last thing you should be thinking about is receiving a Hoover. You shouldn't even want that. But just to think okay, they being a little bit too quiet, where are they? Not to say because you want them to Hoover you. A lot of times they're holding their breath. They're waiting on you to reach out first. They can do that when they have other supply on standby, when they are occupied doing other things they have no business doing. They can stay away for a very, very long period of time. Narcissists, again, I always believe in the out of sight, out of mind. But trust and believe, they will Hoover you sooner or later. Another well-known hoovering tactic is when the narcissists play phone games. They will call you from unknown numbers or blocked numbers because you block them on their phone. But they're not going to give up there. They're going to keep trying to reach out to you until you give them the time of day. And if you continue to block them, then they'll just keep trying to reach out to you time and time again. They may put some time and space in between the next time they reach out to you, but that doesn't mean they're going to stop just because you haven't heard from them in a while. Now, if you do give them a little conversation, this is where you make the mistake at, because once you block the narcissist, it was supposed to give them a clear message that you don't want to be bothered anymore. So don't give them the idea that they have a chance to come back again. If the narcissist ever popped up at your workplace, communicating with the people you work with when you're not around, or making it known that you know how they relate to you or how you used to deal with them, you might want to think about setting stricter boundaries. You may have to speak with someone about forcing these boundaries, because when you're in a workplace, the narcissist can cross certain boundaries, especially if, you know, they have a job to do there. Say, for example, a narcissist may pop up at your job because they're under some other contract. So this is right up their alley. Now they finally have a chance to hoover you again. If the narcissist ever popped up at your workplace, communicating with the people you work with when you're not around, or making it known that you know how they relate to you or how you used to deal with them, you might want to think about setting stricter boundaries. You may have to speak with someone about forcing these boundaries, because when you're in a workplace, the narcissist can cross certain boundaries, especially if, you know, they have a job to do there. Say, for example, a narcissist may pop up at your job because they're under some other contract. So this is right up their alley. Now they finally have a chance to hoover you again. When this happens, you may want to speak with someone about enforcing stricter policies when it comes to certain outside folks coming into your job. Again, it could be under contract work, but they should not be communicating with you unless it's something that you can help them with, dealing with a job they came there for. 9 times out of 10, there's nothing that you should be able to help them with. They should know what the orders were before they got there, so they know what to do. Again, narcissists will use these type of tactics. They will apply for a job to get close to you. So I don't put nothing past a narcissist. Like, there are no limits that they will go to get near you again and hoover you. So just be careful with the information you share with people who may be, you know, pretty talkative, because they just might share it with the narcissist. You might have to speak with someone over their head about enforcing stricter policies when it comes to the work they came there for, and mixing it, you know, mixing work with pleasure. Like, what is your business here? You should stick to the job at hand and nothing more. Because narcissists, they don't respect rules. They don't respect boundaries. And some people, they don't know what the narcissist is all about. But when you know what they're about, it kind of makes you look like, oh, that's the difficult one. You know, and they know, they have that look in their eyes when they're looking at you, because the narcissists know you know. But they have to put on an act around certain people around you. So it is okay to speak with them at that point and let them know, you know, what you're doing is not okay, and I really wish that you would stop. A few weeks ago, my narc ex popped up at my job. I had already left. So my coworker called me, and she was like, guess who I met today? And I'm like, who? And she was like, guess. And I'm like, how am I supposed to guess? And she said, you know, him.
And I was like, oh Lord. And she was like, yeah, and he's so nice and this. And I just stopped her like, look, I'm not trying to hear that. And my tone changed real quick on that one, because they know what they're doing when they pop up at places trying to get acquainted with people who are familiar, who or who you're close to or who you're friends with. They know what they are doing, and you just kind of know, oh Lord, it's about to start now. So just be mindful that that happens a lot with Narcissist Hoover. A few weeks ago, my narc ex popped up at my job. I had already left. So my coworker called me and she was like, guess who I met today? And I'm like, who? And she was like, guess. And I'm like, how am I supposed to guess? And she said, him. And I was like, oh Lord. And she was like, yeah, and he's so nice and this. And I just stopped her like, look, I'm not trying to hear that. And my tone changed real quick on that one, because they know what they're doing when they pop up at places trying to get acquainted with people who are familiar, who or who you're close to or who you're friends with. They know what they are doing, and you just kind of know, oh Lord, it's about to start now. So just be mindful that that happens a lot with Narcissist Hoover. And the reason why narcissists pop up at places trying to get acquainted with people you're familiar with is because they want those people to see you as being the reason why things are not working out. Even if they so-called, take the fault for the relationship ending. What they want is for people to give them a little grace, and say, oh, it's okay. Well, things happen. They want people to pat them on the back and tell them, well, it's okay. Nobody's perfect. It'll work out. And I'll talk to her. Things like that. They want those things to happen. That's why they pop up and, let people know how they know you. Which to me, I don't look at it as nothing but harassment. So be mindful that these things can happen with narcissists in the workplace.
Narcissists are the biggest control freaks, so why wouldn't they do all these things? See, they don't feel that your peace and freedom and space and privacy is just as important as theirs. See, it's always a double standard with the narcissist. You know, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. It's just like all they do is put in a mouthpiece and get going and fool a lot of people. But the good thing is, once you catch on to the narcissist and the pattern, it's like you kind of see it coming already. So you're not easily fooled anymore like you used to be. So you should be less willing to tolerate a lot of, you know, the narc drama and everything that comes with them. So I hope this was helpful. Thank y'all for watching, and I will talk to you soon.